I didn't cheat. I didn't hit her. I wasn't irresponsible, but she still left me. I repeated those words to myself like a broken mantra, sitting at the edge of my bed. The sheets were still warm from her body the night before. Her scent still lingered on the pillow, vanilla and lavender, sweet and calming, just like she used to be, before she stopped looking me in the eye, before she stopped holding my hand, before she said goodbye without actually saying it. My name is Ethan, 35 years old, accountant, average job, average income, average man. Nothing flashy, but dependable. The kind of man who remembers anniversaries, who folds laundry with his wife on Sundays, who never forgot to kiss her forehead before heading to work. The kind of man who tries, always. Anna used to say that was what she loved about me. You make life feel safe, she'd say, curling up next to me on the couch while we watched documentaries no one else cared about. You're the calm in the chaos. We had been together for 7 years, married for 5. We lived in a small rented apartment on the 3rd floor of an old building that creaked with every gust of wind. The walls were thin, the heater was moody, but it was ours. We painted the kitchen cabinets teal, even though the landlord warned us not to. We grew a tiny herb garden on the balcony. Every Friday, we ordered the same greasy Thai takeout and ate on the floor like we were still college students. It wasn't glamorous, but it was ours. We were saving up for a house. Every spare dollar went into a little blue savings jar we kept above the fridge. For the dream, we called it. A small house with a garden, maybe a dog, maybe a kid someday if we were brave enough. But lately, Anna had stopped looking at the jar. She'd started spending more time out. Work events, late night meetings, just catching up with old friends. She said she was tired, said she needed space, said she didn't know what was wrong, but it wasn't me, and I believed her until that night. It was a Tuesday, cold, rainy. I had cooked her favorite, baked salmon with garlic butter rice and steamed broccoli. She used to hum when she ate it, eyes closed like she was tasting happiness. That night, she barely touched her plate. She sat across from me, hands folded in her lap. Her eyes were somewhere else, far, far away, and I felt like a ghost haunting my own dinner table. I tried to make small talk, told her about a funny typo in a client's invoice. She forced a smile, not even a chuckle. Are you okay? I finally asked. She nodded too quickly. Yeah, just tired. But I wasn't blind. The woman I loved, the one who used to giggle in her sleep and text me song lyrics during boring meetings. She was disappearing, bit by bit. Every day she came home later, spoke less, laughed less, and something in me cracked. After dinner, she went straight to bed. Didn't even kiss me goodnight. I stayed up, washing dishes that hadn't been touched, scrubbing harder than I needed to, as if maybe I could scrub the silence off the walls. I stared at our wedding photo on the shelf, us, smiling, standing on the edge of a lake in Oregon, her white dress caught in the wind, my tie crooked. We were so happy, so full of each other. I stood there for what felt like hours, the sponge dripping cold water onto the floor, and in my head, just one question repeated, over and over. What did I do wrong? I didn't drink. I didn't gamble. I came home every night. I never forgot her birthday. I held her when she cried. I stood by her when she lost her mother. I worked overtime so we could take that beach trip she wanted. I kissed her even when she pushed me away. So why was there a wall between us now? Why did her eyes look sad when they met mine? Why did I feel like I was losing her, and she didn't even notice? I climbed into bed beside her, pulling the blanket over both of us. She had already turned away, her back a quiet rejection. I reached out, lightly placed my hand on her waist, like I had done for years. She didn't move, didn't lean in, didn't pull away, just laid there, silent, like a statue carved from ice. I laid awake for hours, counting the breaths between us, trying to feel close to a woman who once made my world feel complete. and now felt like a stranger in my sheets. I didn't sleep that night, and I didn't know it then, but that was the beginning of the end. The moment her silence started screaming louder than any words could. The moment I realized love doesn't always end in shouting matches or slammed doors. Sometimes it ends with nothing at all. Just quiet. I met Anna when we were both 19, standing in line for late-night noodles at a grimy student canteen with flickering fluorescent lights and sticky countertops. I had just flunked a midterm in economics. She had spilled soup on her shirt and was laughing about it like nothing in the world could shake her. She looked at me, shrugged, and said, "If this is rock bottom, at least it comes with broth." I fell in love right then. We weren't the kind of couple people envied. We didn't wear matching outfits or post-polished Instagram pictures. We didn't have fancy dates or Valentine's Day roses. But we had something most people only pretend to have: realness. We were two broke kids with rented bikes, split meals, and dreams duct taped together with hope. There was a night I'll never forget. Finals week, 2 a.m., both of us working the graveyard shift at a gas station. She leaned her head on my shoulder during our break, steam rising from the instant noodles between us. "You know what I want one day?" she said, staring into the dark. "What?" "A tiny house. Nothing fancy. Just enough room for a kitchen with those checkered tiles, and a little balcony where we can grow lavender, and maybe a hammock. You forgot the dog." "Oh, right," she smiled. "A mutt. A loyal one. Like you." I laughed. "Excuse me?" She kissed my cheek and said, "You're the kind of man who'd still kiss me even if I were 80 and smelled like mothballs." Damn right. Back then, love was simple. It didn't have requirements or calculations. We had nothing, and that was enough. We graduated, found jobs, moved into a cramped apartment with mold in the bathroom and a heater that rattled like it was dying. Still, she danced barefoot in the kitchen like it was a palace, and I worshipped the ground she walked on. We took turns cooking, took turns holding each other through bills we couldn't pay. We were always tired, but always in it together. Every time I felt like quitting, she'd squeeze my hand and whisper, "Almost there, just a little longer." But lately, the we and everything had started to turn into me and her. It began with the clothes. Anna was never vain. She liked thrift stores, loose sweaters, practical shoes. But in the last few months, she started dressing differently. Sleek, polished, expensive looking, blouses that shimmered, heels that clicked like they belonged in boardrooms, not our cracked tile kitchen. I said nothing. Then came the makeup. Lipstick shades I didn't recognize. Mascara when she used to hate putting anything near her eyes. Perfumes that made our tiny apartment smell like a hotel lobby. At first, I thought she was just evolving, growing into a more confident version of herself. I was proud, but then came the late nights. Just a work dinner. Team meeting ran long. I grabbed drinks with some colleagues. She always had a reason. Always looked me in the eye. Always smiled that practiced, tired smile. And I, like a fool, believed every word. Until the night she came home at 2:17 a.m. I'd fallen asleep on the couch waiting, the TV humming low. When I heard the lock click, I sat up groggily. Anna stepped in, heels in her hand, hair tousled but styled, like it had been perfect just hours ago. "Hey," she whispered like she didn't want to wake up something fragile. "Where were you?" I asked, not angrily, just blank. She blinked. "Oh, I told you, drinks with Lydia and Mark. We lost track of time." She walked past me to the bathroom. I heard the faucet run, the cabinet open, the soft swish of a makeup wipe. I followed her, watched her reflection as she removed her lipstick in slow, circular motions. "You smell different," I said. She didn't flinch. "New perfume." "It's strong." She paused. "You don't like it?" I didn't say that. Silence. Then she turned to me, face half clean, half made up. "I'm tired, Ethan. Can we not do this now?" I nodded. But inside, something was unraveling. The next morning, I sniffed the collar of her coat. It wasn't her usual scent. It was muskier, richer, like something you'd wear on a date, not a team meeting. I stared at the fabric in my hands and felt like I was holding someone else's life. From that point, I began noticing more cracks. She started locking her phone. She laughed at texts she didn't show me. She took calls on the balcony, speaking in low tones, pacing like a caged animal. One Saturday, I surprised her at her office with lunch. I stood by the front desk, holding her favorite grilled panini. She wasn't there. Anna left an hour ago, the receptionist said, checking the screen. I walked home in silence, panini growing cold in my hand. When she returned hours later, I didn't ask. I was afraid of the answer. One evening, I caught her staring at herself in the mirror for a long time, not fixing her makeup, not adjusting her blouse, just staring. "Is everything okay?" I asked gently. She blinked, like I'd interrupted a thought. "Yeah, just thinking." "About what?" She turned to me. "Have you ever wondered what our life would be like if we had more?" "More what?" She hesitated. "Just more." I didn't know what to say because I thought we had enough. Enough to laugh, enough to survive, enough to love. But maybe she didn't see it that way anymore. Maybe enough wasn't enough for her. I started to think back to the days we used to fight over silly things. Who forgot the laundry? Who burnt the rice? Who took the last donut? At least back then we were present. Now our silences weren't peaceful. They were loaded. Now every time she said, "I love you," it sounded rehearsed, like she was saying it out of obligation. Now I woke up sometimes in the middle of the night and watched her sleep, just to remember what it felt like to feel close to her. And sometimes I cried quietly into the pillow, because you can only pretend for so long that nothing's wrong. You can only tell yourself so many times that she's just tired, just busy, just stressed. Because deep down, I knew the truth. Someone else was making her smile now. It was a Thursday evening just past 8 p.m. when the truth stared me in the face. Anna had left her phone charging on the counter, something she rarely did lately. Normally, it was always in her hand or her bag or face down with the screen dimmed. But that night, it lit up. And I happened to glance over. Just a notification, just one message, but it unraveled everything. Quatuan nai anjat fong, or resort ven bien, chi hai chungta. Hearts. My breath caught in my throat. My heart, not racing, not pounding, just stopped. Everything froze. I didn't touch the phone, didn't open the message, didn't scroll, didn't snoop. Just read that one line over and over again as it faded back to black. And I knew. It wasn't a work trip. It wasn't Lydia and Mark. It wasn't late night meetings or industry drinks. It was him. Whoever he was. That night, I didn't confront her. I cooked dinner. She came home late, said traffic was hell. Kissed my cheek like nothing had changed. Ate half her meal, showered, slipped into bed, and I watched her sleep. I watched the way her lips curled slightly, even in rest. The way her fingers instinctively curled toward her chest. The way she no longer reached for me in the dark. I didn't ask her about the message. I needed to see it first. Over the next few days, I became someone I didn't recognize. I started tracking her comings and goings, subtly at first. I noted the time she left, the time she returned. I logged the clothes she wore, the makeup she put on when she claimed she was just grabbing coffee with coworkers. I followed her once, told my office I was sick, waited in the alley near her building, parked in my car with the seat pushed low, hat pulled down. At 6:42 p.m., she exited. She looked beautiful, too beautiful for a casual dinner with friends. A long beige coat, sleek dress beneath, hair pulled back into a tight bun, lips a shade of red I'd never seen her wear around me. Then a man pulled up. He wasn't young. Late 40s, maybe early 50s. Salt and pepper hair, designer sunglasses, a sharp black Audi. He stepped out and kissed her cheek like he had done it 1,000 times. She smiled. Not the tired smile she gave me at dinner. A different smile, one that reached her eyes, and they drove off. I didn't follow. I couldn't. I sat there, frozen in place, gripping the wheel like it could hold me together. My knuckles turned white. My stomach churned. My mind screamed, but my mouth stayed shut. So that was him. That was who she laughed with now, who she got dressed up for, who she smiled for real with. That night, she came home late again. Work ran long, she said, brushing past me, taking off her earrings in the mirror. I said nothing, just stared at her reflection. There was a moment, just a flicker, where her eyes met mine and something passed between us. She knew I knew, and I knew she knew I knew, but neither of us said it. Not yet. It was 3 days later when it finally exploded. A quiet Sunday. The kind we used to spend tangled in bed, making pancakes, binging old crime documentaries. Now it was just silence. I was in the living room, pretending to read. She was folding laundry at the table, humming softly to herself. Then her phone buzzed again. She glanced at it, smiled, and I broke. I stood, walked over. She looked up, surprised. "What?" she asked, holding a shirt between her fingers. I sat down across from her, calm, too calm. "Who is he?" I asked. She blinked. "Who?" "The man with the Audi, the one who booked the weekend resort." She froze. The silence between us turned sharp, heavy, unbearable. Finally, she set the shirt down, took a breath, and said, "He's my boss." I said nothing. "He owns the firm. We started talking after the Mexico conference. He understands what I want, what I need." "And what is that?" I asked, voice tight. Her eyes filled with something between guilt and defiance. "Security, stability, freedom. Things you say we're working toward but never seem to get any closer to." My voice cracked. "I work every day. I pay our rent. I cook. I clean. I've never let you down." "I know," she whispered. "You're a good man." That made it worse. "So why isn't that enough?" I asked. Her lips trembled. "Because I'm tired of barely surviving, of splitting bills, of pushing dreams into some vague future that never arrives. I want to breathe, Ethan. I want to live." "We were living," I snapped. "Maybe not in luxury, but we were building something real." Her voice turned bitter. "And what if I don't want to build any more? What if I want to step into something that's already standing? Something that doesn't require years of sacrifice?" I stood up, shaking. "So you'd rather be bought than be loved?" Tears welled in her eyes. "You don't understand," she whispered. "He offered me things I never thought I'd have. A place in the city, a company card, travel, comfort, choices." I stared at her, at the woman I once held through thunderstorms, at the girl who once cried with joy over a second-hand couch we found on Craigslist. Now she wanted penthouses and tailored suits. "You're not the same," I said. "Neither are you," she replied quietly. "You stayed behind, Ethan." And I kept walking. I turned away. If I didn't, I'd break. She stood, walked to the door, paused with her hand on the frame. "I still care about you," she said, "but I need more than you can give." I didn't respond. I couldn't. She left, and I collapsed onto the couch, surrounded by folded laundry and the smell of her perfume, the scent of someone I no longer knew. That night, I opened our blue savings jar. Still there. The crumpled bills, the coins, the dreams we saved one grocery discount at a time. I dumped it out, counted every dollar, not for a house anymore, but maybe enough for silence. Anna left on a Tuesday. There was no storm, no slammed doors, no screaming match, just the slow sound of zippers and the rustle of clothes being folded too neatly. The silence between us was no longer heavy. It was hollow, like a house stripped bare of furniture and warmth. I sat on the couch, hands clasped between my knees, watching her move from drawer to drawer, methodical, cold, like she was clocking out of a job she'd grown tired of. She didn't look at me, not once, not until she was at the door, suitcase in hand, keys on the table. Then she paused, turned slightly. Her voice was soft, almost tender. I still love you, but not enough to turn down the chance to change my life. That was the last thing she said to me. Then she left. She didn't close the door gently, didn't turn back, just walked out of our life like it was a chapter she had skimmed and didn't like. I didn't cry, not right away. Instead, I sat there for hours staring at the spot where her suitcase had stood. The tile underneath seemed cleaner, emptier. Eventually, I moved, got up, wandered into the kitchen, opened the fridge, half a lemon, a carton of milk 2 days past its expiration, leftover rice, her almond milk, untouched. I heated the rice, ate in silence. It tasted like sand. The light above the stove flickered, buzzed, paused, then flickered again. I didn't fix it, didn't turn it off, just sat there in the dim, broken light. That night, I lay in our bed alone. No weight beside me. No breathing, no warmth. Just the hum of the heater, rattling like an old man coughing in the walls. I reached over instinctively, to her side. Cold sheets. I closed my eyes, tried to remember her voice, her laugh, the way she used to pull the blanket over both of us and mumble, "Don't hog it, okay?" I tried to remember the version of her that danced in the kitchen, that painted her toenails on the balcony, that cried when the dog in the movie died. But all I saw was the version of her walking out the door, heels clicking, back straight, eyes dry. The next few days blurred together. I went to work, came home, ate toast, didn't answer calls. Friends texted, "Hey man, you good? Want to grab a beer? You've been quiet lately." I left them on read. What was I supposed to say? That the woman I built a life with left because my kind of love wasn't rich enough? That I was a good man but not a desirable one? That she chose power over history? I couldn't say those words out loud, because if I did, they'd become real. One night, I opened the storage box under the bed. Inside, the life we built, compacted into forgotten pieces. Old Polaroids, us at the lake, at the fair, on the couch with takeout. A grocery list she'd scribbled. Eggs, bread, cereal. Don't forget to kiss me when you get home. Receipts, electric bills from our first apartment. $43.72. We'd celebrated that day because it was under budget. And at the very bottom, folded so carefully it hurt, was the note she gave me the night we moved in together. No matter what happens, I still choose you. Always. The ink had faded, like promises tend to do. I stared at that note for hours, read it 100 times, and somewhere in the middle of the night, I broke. I curled into myself and sobbed like a child. Because that kind of pain, the kind where someone leaves you while still loving you, it doesn't scream. It seeps. It seeps into your pillows, into your skin, into the silence of your apartment, where her laugh used to live. And it whispers, "You weren't enough." I kept functioning, like a ghost with a to-do list, but everything reminded me of her. The pan she used to cook eggs, the cardigan she left on the back of the chair, the book she never finished, dog-eared at page 142. Even the smell of rain against the window made my chest ache. We used to watch storms together. She'd light a candle, say it made the thunder feel cozy. Now the thunder just echoed off the empty walls. A week later, I saw her, not in person, on social media. A friend of a friend posted a story, a hotel lobby in some upscale resort. There she was, standing at the check-in counter with that man, her coat. White, expensive, her lips smiling, her hand in his. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. I wasn't angry. I was numb, because I realized something. She wasn't just leaving me. She was erasing me, replacing me, rewriting the version of her life where I had ever existed. I thought about deleting everything, the photos, the texts, the saved voicemails, but I didn't. Not yet, because some part of me still needed to remember, not the betrayal, but the love, the nights we danced barefoot, the noodles at 2 a.m., The sound of her singing off key in the shower. That love was real, even if she stopped choosing it, even if she chose something else. That night, I sat in the kitchen again. Same chair, same flickering light. Only this time, I lit a candle, just like she used to. I took the note from the memory box, read it one last time, and whispered, "I still choose you too, even if you don't." Then I folded it carefully, slipped it back into the box, closed the lid, and sat in the quiet, letting go. 1 year later, everything in the apartment still looks the same. The teal kitchen cabinets, chipped in the corners but still hers. The mismatched couch pillows. One with a faint coffee stain from the morning she spilled and laughed. The photo frames remain untouched. I didn't remove her from them, didn't store them away. I let her live in the walls, in the shelves, in the air. Like a ghost, I chose not to exercise. I never moved. People asked me why. Friends suggested a change of scenery, a new start, something fresh to get me back out there. But the truth is, I don't want a new start. I want the ending to stop echoing. My days became a quiet pattern. I wake at 6, shower, dress, brew coffee, still 2 cups. I throw one away. Old habits die last. I walk to the same bus stop, listen to the same podcast, eat lunch alone, smile politely, speak only when spoken to. When I come home, the light in the hallway flickers. I haven't fixed it. Some nights I imagine she'll come back, not to stay, just to stand at the door, apologize, smile. But the door never opens. Dinner is always simple now, a sandwich, soup from a can, sometimes just toast. I sit at the kitchen table in the same chair, across from the one she used to claim. Back then, she'd curl her legs underneath, cup of tea in her hand telling me about her day. Now, I put my cup where hers used to go. Still green tea. Still 2 sugars, just like she liked it. I sip it slowly, as if I could bring her back through ritual alone. Every now and then I see her, not in person, online. Sometimes someone tags her. Sometimes she pops up on a mutual friend's story. Sometimes her name appears when I don't mean to search it, and sometimes I do. There she is, in Paris, in Milan, in rooftop bars with golden chandeliers and candlelit tables, her hair longer, her makeup flawless, her dresses tailored and expensive, and her smile. That same smile I once woke up to. But when I look closer, when I really look, there's something off. Her eyes never laugh anymore. They pose, but they don't dance. Once I saw a video clip of her at some event. A man, probably him, kissed her temple while she looked into the camera. She smiled, then looked away, and for a brief second I saw it. Loneliness. Not loud, not dramatic, just a flicker, like someone had painted over sadness with glitter, but forgot to let it dry. She never contacted me, not even a text. No, "How are you?" No, "I'm sorry." Not that I expected it, not that I would have known what to say if she had. I think a part of me forgives her, not because she deserves it, but because I can't carry her choices anymore. They weigh less now, like smoke. Still bitter, still stinging, but easier to breathe through. Sometimes on Fridays, I light a candle on the table. Same scent she loved. Something citrusy, with vanilla underneath. I eat in silence, drink my tea, and imagine the version of us that never broke. The version that still shares one couch and one dream and one jar of coins above the fridge. That version is gone, but I still visit it from time to time, just to remember what it felt like to be chosen. A neighbor moved in next door last week, young couple. They laugh a lot, play music too loud. Sometimes I hear her voice rising in mock frustration, the way Anna used to. I don't mind. It reminds me I'm still human, still capable of missing something I once had. I haven't touched the memory box. It stays beneath the bed, sealed, quiet. I don't open it, but I don't throw it away either. It's not hope I'm clinging to. It's history, and maybe that's okay. This isn't a story with a twist. No one came back. No one begged for forgiveness. No big confrontation under the rain. It just ended, quietly, like the last flicker of a candle. And me, watching the smoke rise, knowing it once held warmth. I'm still the man I've always been. I work, I love quietly. I remember. I let go slowly. I'm a good man. Just not the kind of man she chose to stay with. And maybe that's the part that hurts the most. Not that she left, but that being good, truly, deeply good, was never enough. I'm still a good man. It just turns out that was never enough to make her stay.